It's been a while since I've done this, but I think I know how. I think I remember how this starts. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see my face and or hear my voice, you know it is time once again for the worst 120 minutes or so in all of sports. Yes, I am Mike, and it's time once again for the Too Many Guys Soccer Show. I am joined, as I am every show, by my faithful partner in all things podcasting, producer Stead. How goes it?
It is going pretty good. Pretty good. I want to give a special shout out to my local Atlanta United for knocking out Inter Miami of the
Cheers.
first round, especially considering what they had to go through with as soon as the season ending, traveling up to Montreal to play that game, beating Montreal, and then immediately having to turn around and go to Miami, losing that opening game, but fought well, came back home, won, and then won again for a best of three series. Good on you, Atlanta. Very proud of you. Very happy that I can latch on to something down here since I've been here for about a year because DC United doesn't want to really be competitive anymore, which is sad considering their history. But that was great to be somewhat a part of. And my son has had on his United shirt, Atlanta United shirt. I'm now officially going to go get myself some Atlanta United gear to
Welcome to
parcel
the podcast.
along with my DC gear, but you know, that was cool.
Hey, listen, Atlanta United has always been good to us.
Mm,
Uh, Back in the day, even before we started this pod, I did some work with them. Atlanta United has always been good to us. I have
mm,
nothing bad to say about Atlanta United.
mm,
We'll always root for them,
yeah,
except for when they're playing the Philadelphia Union.
right.
So I was massively happy
Yep.
to see them come away with a win in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And much deserved. Much deserved. I mean, they had a rough regular season, but it sounds like this is a squad that just battles. And my neighbor down the road, he watches every game, every game. So I check in with him in the mornings at the bus stop when we're putting the little kids on the bus, and he's been keeping me posted on it since I didn't get the Apple TV package. But it's very cool. It's very cool. And I didn't get to a game this year, but I plan on going to several games starting this spring. It's gonna be
Hey,
fun.
but count me in. I'll go.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds
I,
good.
we have. I have a cousin who has season tickets and was in Mercedes Benz
Hmm.
when they won that first championship,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
I've really covered them for the other show that I do a
Right.
lot, and so I've nothing but love for that
Yeah.
organization.
And the best thing is that the community is still very much behind it. And I've been as I've gone around to different parts of this area, and I've heard consistently that the best game in town to see live is Atlanta United. And these are guys who are basketball people. These are college football guys, and they're saying, "Look, you got it. Those games are great." He's like the support is there.
That
It's a lot of fun. He goes, I don't know nothing about soccer, but I've been to 5 games myself. It's great. You'll have a lot of fun. So I said, okay. I got to get down there and check it out.
No, I have nothing but love. They are a class organization, top to
Hmm.
bottom,
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
and
And they really did it right. And like the Atlanta United practice facilities and their youth programs have moved out to where I live, out here in Cobb County, and they have a whole thing set up. And when I moved down here, they were actually expanding it, getting more fields going down there. It's also entrenched in an area that has a large Hispanic and Brazilian population that live not too far from that facility as well. So they really are being embraced. They really are reaching out to communities, especially communities that are historically active in soccer, football, and that's been just really enjoyable to see since I moved down here. So I'm looking forward to being more and more of a part of it. So props to Atlanta. I'm riding with y'all, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can keep those
hey,
West Coast boys
DC,
out there.
Philly Union are in it, so I
Yeah,
got nothing
see,
better to do.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of where I am when it comes to MLS. DC was out 3 months ago, so I mean, come on, I think we still have Christian Benteke starting a striker who can't score goals. So which has been his MO for quite a long time.
I was in Kansas City this weekend, hence the Monarchs jersey behind me,
That's
which
right.
I picked up from the Negro League Museum.
I can't wait to get there. I want to see it so bad.
Oh, brother, it is a fantastic museum. I wish
Yeah.
they had a larger gift shop because I would have spent a
Mm.
whole lot more money if they did.
That's cool.
So maybe I
That's
should be
cool.
happy that they weren't as big as I wanted them to be because I would have spent
Yeah.
a whole lot more money than I did.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I can't wait to get my Homestead Grays jersey. So,
Uh, hey, so this is the uh, uh, Satchel Paige special.
oh, nice. Okay.
They also have a Buck O'Neill and a Jackie Robinson one.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Your boy had to go through a couple to make a decision.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
wifey was like, Mike, you can't get them all.
I can't get them all. And I was reminded I do have a Jackie Robinson Brooklyn Dodgers jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I could get a Buck O'Neill bobblehead.
Yeah.
And a Satchel Paige jersey. So that was the direction I went in.
Okay, that sounds good.
But I spent way more money than I had anticipated and probably less than I should have.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic museum. Great shout outs there. And I have to give a big shout out to Doc and Mike and all the guys with the Kansas City Red Devils. Brother, I showed up there hot on Sunday morning, catching an Uber down from where I was staying. I literally arrived right when the game was starting. Came around and introduced myself, and we talk a lot about Midwest hospitality.
Yeah.
That was what I felt.
Yeah.
I've never been more welcomed at a game, and it was just a great experience. So I don't care if you're a Man United fan or you're an Everton fan or an Arsenal fan or a Leicester fan or a Leeds fan. Go out and watch with them. They're a great group of individuals. They welcome all comers.
Wonderful.
I have not had as much fun.
That's great to hear because I've never been to Kansas City, but having since moving to Atlanta, we realized that we're quite a travel hub. So there's lots of parts of this part of the country that I haven't been to yet. So I'm looking forward to jumping on that. So I'm going to put Kansas City on the list. Something that we
Go
should go check out on the weekend.
Museum.
Yeah,
we had some fantastic barbecue.
Yeah.
So we went out to the Negro League Museum. We came back to the house. We got Jack Stack's barbecue picked up, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to a speakeasy.
Oh, old school speakeasy?
I mean, 36 people could be allowed in this place.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I went to one of those in like some corner of the wall in Brooklyn. It was great.
I had one that you would love. I had a smoked old fashioned.
Nice. Oh, I bet that was delicious.
It was delicious. My boy got something that should have been a hot toddy. All I know was if this boy ever gets Ebola, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. If he ever gets Ebola, he did something wrong with that drink.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that drink that he had could also cure COVID. But it was fantastic. It was a great time. $15 a drink.
Oh wow.
They only dealt in cash.
Oh wow.
They're like
so you go there to enjoy the ambiance and just sip on a beverage and just relax, have a good conversation. Because if you're doing that, they're not forcing you out.
We were a party of 6 and we were sitting behind a boiler. Or what should have been a boiler if it was hot. And we just had a great time. And they came and they said, I'm like, I'm trying to settle up the tab. They're like, yeah, it's like $15 a drink. Huh. I didn't realize that. But those drinks were good.
Yeah.
They had a smoked lemon drop. They had a lemon drop martini. A couple of them had. That was awesome. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, we went to one and they didn't have any. There's no TVs. They had fireplace, candles lit the place up. I felt like I was in a Harry Potter movie. And me and wifey went in there, and we just relaxed. And they had they brought around some bread just for you to have along with your drinks.
There was no food.
Yeah, they didn't have food, but something. And I sat in like a recliner, And I could have been there for 4 hours. I wouldn't have known any better. People were just chatting with people, just having a good old time. I was like, this is great. This is great.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This Swordfish Tom's in Kansas City is a definite stop. We had
Mm,
laughs there. It was a good weekend. It was a
that
good
sounds
weekend.
awesome. Sounds awesome.
And I got to give a shout out to my boy Mike because I've had some good barbecue.
Yeah.
Man, I've had some good barbecue. I always go back to Black's Barbecue in New Braunfels, Texas. It's probably my favorite place. But boy, this dude put a brisket and some chicken wings on for football on Sunday. That was the best barbecue I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
Those wings smacked.
Nice.
I'm
Very
not
cool.
mad at it. I'm
Yeah,
not
man.
mad at it. And the Chiefs won on a block kick. The Eagles won.
Yeah,
We
I'm
watched
glad
it.
this isn't a football show because I don't want to complain about the Chiefs, but because
Well, you know what
that's
happened?
another show for another time. I'm not even going to get
Well,
into it.
and I will get into it because this happened right before I left. Um, we flew out at 9 o'clock on Friday, which gave me just enough time after the dread of your former existence, parent teacher conferences.
Yeah,
So I had them on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I got
yeah.
done at 3. I had
Mm.
just enough time
Well,
to slide down to the bar
yeah,
and watch Ireland play New Zealand in rugby.
yeah. I've been keeping up with that too. It sounds like the Southern Hemisphere has dominated this little recent
Well,
round of test matches. So,
yeah, but the other thing is the Northern Hemisphere. Uh, some of those teams couldn't hang if they tried. Uh, I will say with New Zealand, Ireland, New Zealand had played a bunch of games. Ireland hadn't played since the summer when they went down to South America or to South Africa, and they look like they hid.
mm,
Now you give me next week
mm,
Ireland versus Argentina.
mm,
I'm taking Ireland.
mm,
Andy Farrell's going to get that back together.
mm,
All those mistakes that they made last weekend, they will not make them again. That will not happen.
mm.
That much I know. But
Yeah,
it was a good game.
yeah,
So a bunch of guys that I know, a bunch of guys that you know. It was a really fun time, even though it was 2-1 in the Irish pub. New Zealand fans to Ireland fans. So I can guarantee you that's not going to happen again.
yeah.
So, I was going to come on and make a crack about family matters and stuff like that, but you know the real reason why we haven't done a show?
Why?
I was waiting for Manchester United to get rid of Eric Ten Hag.
Ah,
They finally did that. We've got Ruben Amorim coming in. We've seen what Ruud van Nistelrooy can do for United. It was pretty in the last couple of games.
mm-hmm,
11 goals scored,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
3 conceded.
mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at it,
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
but I'm excited to see what this guy from Sporting can do. It's going to be a total reset.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's always something of an exciting time when you have a somewhat of a team legend come in this type of situation and win a couple of games, and the fan base starts going, "Wait a minute, just keep him, just keep him, just keep him." But I feel like the opportunity you have with this coach from Sporting seems to be something that could turn into someone who's really special. So it's a wise move, and to see and hear the support that this move is getting from basically everywhere should put all of us who have benefited from Man U being down for a while on notice in the next few years. So we'll see what type of changes he can make in the club, but there's
This
going
is
to
going
be
to be
something
an
that's going to be
organizational reset.
Yeah,
This is going to be
exactly.
an organizational reset.
Yeah.
I respect. I'm going to have Professor Matt come on later on, and he dealt with him because this was a guy that Liverpool thought they were going to get over summer.
Right.
This was a guy who had been identified as the successor to Pep Guardiola at City. I have a lot of feelings about what I know about him from the summer and stuff like that, but what I have learned since then has kind of pacified me. And I think this could be the right organizational reset for Man United. I'm not even upset that they got rid of Ruud. Ruud was the conduit from Eric Ten Hag to he was the players guy.
Right. And you got to feel like, would you really be able to get that hard reset that you need under Ruud?
You were never going to get that.
Right.
That was going to be a continuation of
absolutely
brought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I love the glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson. That was the peak of what any club should be. But we can't keep going trying to go back to that.
Yeah, you can't keep going back to the well.
Changed. We don't have Sir Alex anymore. Trying to get Sir Alex, trying to get the next what you think is going to be Sir Alex, ain't happening. Because remember, Sir Alex came from Aberdeen. He struggled for 4 or 5 years in a different set of circumstances. Became great. We need to do this. We need a systematic organizational reset. And that's what I think that Ruben's going to bring. So I'm interested to see it. I'm not mad that they got rid of or that Ruud Van Nistelrooy left. Let him go. Let him do what he wants to do. Let Ruben bring in his boys. Let him coach that team. It's a risk on both sides. We got Coach G.
Oh, he made it.
We got Coach G.
Yes, the things do work in Noah. So yes. Even though for whatever reason.
G, before I start, you see this?
I like it. I got a little Noah love right there. All right.
The Nola Gold jersey. I knew you were coming on tonight. You're doing your first podcast from the new spot in the French Quarter. I like the background. It is good. How goes it, sir?
Awesome. Well, let me read what Stead said. I think I'm kind of tangy right now with my microphone. So.
No, actually, that's it. You got it. You're good now.
Cool. I ain't gonna touch it.
Okay, you're probably sitting too far away. That's what it was. Okay.
So, how you guys doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We're doing good. I'll talk to mine. We could use our Eric Lova voice and deep voice. This is the Grown and Sexy part of the podcast. We're going to talk and play the smooth jams.
So to answer your question, things been just topsy-turvy my world for the last couple of months and everything. But right now, things been turning around fucking beautifully right now. So I'm just living a great life. I'm living on Bourbon Street. I have a podcast idea, but I'm really not going to tell you guys until it comes into fruition. But just
only tell us if you can count us in, because you know that no matter what it is, we will be involved.
All right, I'll drop
I don't care what the concept is. I'm there
for you. Saturday nights live on Bourbon Street talking footy.
I am there with you. Can we just interview random people?
Yes, that's the whole point. Because like last week, and I showed you guys, a couple of videos of a gooner, and I don't know why the camera's not coming on me, but whatever. I was walking up and down Bourbon Street, and go Gunners! Oh, fuck you! Everything. I go, huh? There's something here that I could possibly kind of enjoy. So I'm on Bourbon Street. So if I could get that bourbon, get maybe some alcohol advertisements, some sponsorships, but there's so many random people from all over the United States because people come to the French Quarter, to watch the Saints game. So last week it was all the Atlanta people. So I saw a bunch of Atlanta Dirty Birds wearing their, Atlanta FC uniforms. So soccer is big down here, but it's not a big thing. So I kind of put two and two together. Maybe some beer kind of helped out a little bit with the thoughts and stuff like that. But just like it could be possible. So I just need to find someone with my funky attitude and my energy and to know sports. So I want to do it every kind of Saturday from like 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 or something like that. Nothing like past 10 o'clock. That shit gets kind of a little too weird down there. But yeah, man, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Ed, you're closer. So you go down and help them out. But we're going to come down and we are going to do this because that sounds like fun. I am totally into it. Stead, the last time I was down with G, we ended up in a random second line parade. Just walking.
Yeah, but when Stead was down here, we actually saw a second line coming down the escalator in the hotel that he was staying at.
Exactly.
Like 2 blocks. Oh crap! It's the hotel that you're staying at, and we just didn't put two together. But yeah, man, the second lines happen all the time down here, and I want to join one anytime. But yeah,
we need to do a remote down in New Orleans. We'll get Tim involved again.
Yeah,
Tim.
Most definitely. And like I said, last time when you came down here, I was down in a good place, but now it's so much better. Life, like I said, life is great right now.
Cheers, boys. Cheers.
My little journey, but it's another time, another place.
So we were talking about Manchester United. I am hopeful about what Ruben Amorim will bring to this team. I don't expect the results to necessarily go Manchester United's way right to start.
Of course. And that's normal with any kind of new coach trying to put his stamp on the team. There's going to be some kind of little kind of get to know each other grace period. And after that, this should be taken off. So I'm not saying it's a scrap for a Man U season, but there might be a couple of weeks there where you might drop some points. But right now, just try to fight for a European spot.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We're going to see how the rest of the season goes. Give him time. I think that he will make the team come good. I need to talk about y'all team.
The good, the bad, and the ugly?
I was going to go with a different Shakespeare quote and say, my kingdom for a striker.
Achilles' heel for the last several years. I'm sorry. I'm so hoping we can get Giroud back, man. Like, sign him. We didn't talk that. No, I'm just joking.
Maybe it is Giroud. Get Giroud back. Boys,
something
for want of a striker. I know that they put money into getting Gabe Jesus to come. That proved to be the wrong answer.
So.
And now I'm hearing that Alexander Isak, the Newcastle striker, who has a pretty decent fitness record, has proven in the Premier League that he can score goals. But I'm even not that sure that he's the guy.
Well, even the game.
I'll ask y'all, G, instead. Did y'all miss a trick? Not going after Brentford, after Ivan Toney.
No. Arsenal messed up by not signing Isak before Newcastle did. That's where they messed up. Gee, I know you remember this when we were chatting big time about sights of him being in London before his transfer to Newcastle and everything like that. But Arsenal balked at the fee. They balked at it, and this was before Arsenal realized that they actually have a legitimate chance to actually win something if they just have a goal scorer. So I think that's where they messed up, and I feel like they've been well aware that Jesus was not the guy for a while now, and it's because of Jesus cannot stay healthy. He just can't stay on the field. If he could stay on the field, because think about it, I don't think he's played a full 90 minutes yet this season.
He hasn't played a full 90 minutes in like 3 years.
But okay, but who cares? We're talking about this season. He hasn't played. He hasn't played. So the point was, though,
has he played?
Yes, he's played in cup games, and he's played a little bit sparingly here and there, but he's out. He's clearly out. The fact that he's made it this long lets you know they're just trying to get the fee for him down a little bit by just getting some miles on him a little bit before they're gonna take whatever they can get for him. They don't just flat out release him. But the fear was his injury history. We talked about that. We said, and look, when he first came in, dude was playing fantastic, and I'll never doubt his ability to play. But look, you're only as good as how much you can get on the field. That's all you are. If you can't play, who cares about everything else? It doesn't matter. So he's got to go. So, but they had the opportunity to go after Isak, and they didn't go after him the way they should have. And now we're stuck in a situation where you have two guys who are still clamoring over Olivier Giroud. And I guarantee if Arsenal was to re-sign Olivier Giroud for a very low fee as a 38-year-old guy who can come in and score 5 or 6 goals for you, we'd be pretty happy about that, because the goal scoring is clearly a problem, because you can't rely on Odegaard and Saka and Martinelli to be your goal scorers, because that's not their role in the team.
No, you can't rely on Kai. I don't like Kai as a starter. I think he's slow.
He's playing out of position anyway. Kai's a false 9. He's not a center forward.
So when we played against Chelsea, we need a speedster. Like, I would rather see Sterling start up there and just be a gnat, and just be a pest back there. Like, guys, against a team like that, he does not play well, and it just looked like he was sloppy. He couldn't get a lot of chances and everything. He goes against good teams like Brentford. He looks really good at, or like the mid-level teams. But these really high teams, we need speed, and he does not have the speed. He might have the body size for a free kick header. That's about it. But we need more than that on a free kick. We need a run of play kind of position. So Jesus, when he came over, it looks like we're getting like the Man City scraps, because we got the Jesus, we got Sterling, we got Andre Schenko and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, we're getting like they're like kind of leftovers when they're past their prime right now. Schenko, I wish we can get rid of him. He's just kind of like a black hole back there.
Jesus, why do they keep playing him there? I don't understand why he's not a left back. Why are you playing him there? He's not a left back.
But
you don't have a left back. You don't have one.
Well, we could if we could stay healthy in defense. We can't stay healthy in defense, because they could easily play Tomiyasu there. They'd be just fine, but he can't stay healthy.
They're going to transfer Tomiyasu
because he can't stay healthy. He's hurt all the time too.
You're going to also transfer Tierney, who would be your both natural left backs.
Like Tierney couldn't stay healthy either.
Yep.
The Arsenal injury disease is still alive and well.
Yep.
It's alive and well. I thought we finally said it, but we have. But look, if you look at players lost time due to injury, Arsenal is double every other team in the Premier League. Double the injury. Listen, their physio department. I don't understand what's in the water over there, but this team cannot stay healthy. They just can't.
You're buying guys, in some respects, you're buying guys that never stay healthy. You try and put Raheem Sterling on the pitch for 90 minutes and think about the traction that needs to happen to do that.
Yeah, well, Raheem Sterling's also 29, but you got to remember he's been playing at the top level since he was 17, so he's really like 34.
You should have signed him.
All right, he's alone.
He's great off the bench, though.
Like, for what we need off the bench, he's alone. You can't put this on Sterling.
No.
I'm not putting it on Sterling. I'm putting it on the fact that
Sterling was clearly a luxury that they said, sure, why not? This could come in and give some support to Saka and Martinelli.
No problem with Sterling.
He's definitely off the bench.
Not Sterling. The problem is not Bukayo Saka.
The problem is that they did not go sign a striker when they should have.
Yep.
They did, and also we have to understand this. Let me finish. There's not a lot of strikers out there, which you've mentioned on this show on multiple occasions when we have this conversation. There's not a lot of goal-scoring strikers out there. in order to get one, you have to be able to spend an exorbitant amount of money that Arsenal is just not willing to do for a striker for some reason, because they were willing to do it for Declan Rice. So there are, yeah, well, not anymore. Pepe's fee won't get you that right now either. But the thing is this: you need to find a player or bring up a player from your academy,
yes,
and just thrust them into the role and see what you have. Because the problem is that over and over and over again, Arsenal have had the same problems. The only difference now is that Arsenal's finishing second and third, not fifth and sixth, but it's still the same general problem. Mm-hmm. it's that the issue comes when
look at last year. We scored a hell of a lot of goals last year, though. In comparison,
you could have had Ivan Toney, you could have had Victor Osimhen, and you didn't. The one that I question is maybe Victor Osimhen's work rate was not what you wanted, but boy, does that guy score goals. And I'm not looking at what you needed to pay for a fully fleshed out Premier League striker. Guys that have issues that preclude other teams from necessarily signing. Please tell me right now, you all would rather pay low money for Raheem Sterling than you would for Victor Osimhen, or
you can't compare the two signings. You can't compare that. The Raheem Sterling signing was the final hour of the transfer day, and they didn't pay a lot for Sterling. Chelsea's picking up the vast majority of that money anyway.
Which Napoli was going to do for Osimhen, because they
not to the extent though. Not to the extent though.
Y'all could have afforded him.
I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying you can't compare the two signings. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm just asking you to tell me, both of y'all wouldn't be better with him.
Nobody's saying we wouldn't be. Who said that? I didn't say that. Who's to say we wouldn't be better with? Okay, that's so silly. Why would we say? Why would we say that Arsenal wouldn't be better with a player that we're saying we know we desperately need, which is a goal scorer? I mean, because look, if you just want to pick on Arsenal, then just pick on Arsenal. But you're asking me why we didn't do it. How the hell do I know? Like, how the hell do I know why they didn't do it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
So you're not
Arsenal is, why do you know that you need a proven goal scorer, and you don't, when there are two sitting there who would come to you, who would walk there, who would pay their own freight there?
I'm not gonna defend it either. I don't know.
But like I can't. Last year we scored so many goals without a true forward. So like it's got to be the injuries why we're not scoring our goals right now. But we hit like what, plus 55 last year, which is unheard of or something like that. It was an uncrazy number. And this is the same team that we were still rebuilding, and they're a young squad and So we have no injuries, and our injuries to our attacking players, like Saka's getting knocked around left and right. We saw that coming for 2 years now. Every time you're going to the right side, you're giving him the ball 80% of the time, you know he's going to get knocked down. And now the injuries are going to catch up with this young major prospect of a young man. But like the upside for him is so high, but they play him so much, he's going to get hurt. Odegaard playing him too much, going to get hurt. Then now he's not playing for Norway. I'm glad that Arsenal said, "Hey, Norway, please don't play him. We need him back." And I'm glad that Norway decided.
He's not ready. He's not healthy.
Oh, he's not healthy by any means. But just to see him out there last week, you saw a big, huge difference in the team and how they played. He's the brain of the operation. In the last 6 games, they could not do anything without him. And yes, we've had him for not 2 months, but up to the last couple month and a half, last couple 6 games, we've been shite. So with him back and our injuries are slowly coming back, our defense has been solid. Because remember 3 years ago, we were crying for a good defense. We had David Luiz. We had all those kind of bozos back there. Now we have a solid defense. If one guy goes down, we have another guy to kind of fill his place. So defense-wise and goalie, I'm good with. Even with some of the injuries, I am still good with. Our midfielders and our attacking forwards, I'm always going to have an issue with, just because of how they play and who they play and how much they play, and international, never have a break, and the schemes of everything. So, yeah, Raheem Sterling, even though he's not the most sexiest signing, but he can do good things still, being 29 years old. He's a great off-the-bench player that you need that speed in the last 15, 20 minutes to score a goal or set an assist. I think that's why we got him for a very cheap, because we need him for those later kind of games. Now, put him in a Brentford or put him in a shit team to get some legs, get him used to the run of play for 90 minutes with the team right now. But I don't think it was a bad signing. But yes, are there younger guys that we should have signed? Of course. But we just don't know, like Seth said, don't know why they didn't pull the trigger. Maybe they were just happy with what they have and maybe keep another English or a Londoner in London, so he kind of just fits right in. I don't know.
There's no
This
way
is the
that
one that I
hold
can't
on.
understand.
There's no way the club isn't going to expect to compete with what they claim they want to compete without the players that we see they're sorely lacking. We've seen time and time again that it only takes a key injury to a couple of Arsenal players for Arsenal to basically be out of it. I think they're out of the title race right now. I don't see them really. It's now down to, look, we know City's going to City. City has this 4-loss stretch they're going on, but City's going to City. So it's basically between Manchester City and Liverpool. And because considering third place is, which we should give props to, which I know we will, because we know we love our Uncle Nuno. We'll give him his props later on. But considering that Nottingham Forest is the team that's coming up,
hope that they stay there.
Yeah, but that's my point. My point is that the fact that they're third, and you knew Chelsea wasn't going to be bad for that long. You knew it wasn't going to happen. Chelsea was going to come back, even though no matter what Chelsea Mike says, you knew they were going to come back, as they always do. So it's down to a 2-team race right now. So now I'm going to shift gears here. Arsenal needs to put all of their money to win the League Cup.
They need to get
win a League Cup. Win the League Cup. Get a trophy.
So great from the back to the front.
Get a trophy. Just win the League Cup, finish fourth, call it a season.
Gentlemen, the spine that I have said that has been lacking since Patrick Vieira last played, is there.
Yeah, but that spine's about to go away because Real Madrid is going to buy Saliba probably this offseason. We probably won't have Saliba after this season.
Correct.
I say,
which is for great money.
Contract that Saliba, you give Saliba a play packet that he thinks that he's worth. He stays. He likes being in London. He has said that he likes being in London. He would like to stay there.
Yeah.
It is about giving him the money that he thinks that he deserves. Putting him on par with Declan Rice.
Yeah, pay him.
Yeah, look what he did for France.
I mean, I'm not so concerned about Arsenal paying him. What I'm concerned about is that, yes, he can say all those right things, which you've heard time and time again, but these are professional athletes, and these are clubs that also want to make some money. And you look at Real Madrid coming in saying, we're going to offer you £90 million.
If he does not want to leave, if he wants to sit and stay, you have other players that they can get. Right?
Mm-hmm. So
I would like to see what Arsenal look like if ownership gave Mikel Arteta a full complement.
Mm-hmm.
What I know that they have right now is I know that they have 2 really, really good center backs.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they have a good midfield. I know that they have a good winger. What they do not have is a center forward.
Even though our mock center forward is the highest paid player on the team.
Your mock center forward is the problem.
Yep. Kai's getting $280 a week.
Jesus.
Kai's not the answer, so we know that you need Ivan Toney. You need Victor Osimhen.
Yeah, there's no way Ivan Toney's coming back. No way.
I don't want him.
He'll come back. Victor, even if Ivan Toney won't, Victor Osimhen will
Yeah, but Ivan Toney's
Any
getting
day
paid
of the week,
400,000 a
on
week
Sunday.
playing in Saudi Arabia.
Victor Osimhen will come back for a
Yeah.
song right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I agree that that's the player they need to target, considering that he's playing in Turkey right now for Galatasaray, which is not the most eye-popping league. Even though I see it's fun to watch. If you ever watch that league, it's fun. I mean, it's a fun league, but I mean, nobody's watching Turkish football.
If you give him a fraction of what he's making, he will come back and he will play for y'all and he will put on the red and white groomers and be the best ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, that boy can still play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they got to give it to Jesus. Jesus is on 265 a week, so he's just got to go. And he'll still have 2 years left on his contract at the end of the season, but he's got to go. He's just got to go. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm okay with keeping Kai Havertz. I think Kai could play, but I just think you need to play Kai somewhere else and not play him in the center forward position.
I think if you have a bona fide striker,
then I think you'll see Kai do a whole lot better.
Yep.
I 1,000% agree. I 1,000% agree. But
I think if you ask Kai to do a number 10's job instead of trying to be a hybrid, I think if you give space,
but you have to put that on
Sacco and Kai Havertz to do wingers jobs with a bona fide center forward, it all of a sudden makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Partey will also be gone at the end of the season. I don't see him sticking around either.
Really?
And that's not going to be a big loss.
It's not a big loss. He's on the last year of his contract. He's on 200,000 a week. I really don't think there's a reason to keep him after this season. I think he's a very good midfielder, but you see, he's also being played at right back sometimes, and he cannot play right back. And but what I'm saying is I think this team needs to really continue to do what they've been doing as far as reinforcing what they have, but also they have to, Mike, you're right. They have to address the elephant in the room, and they're just not addressing it. And they're not, that's just going to continue to be an issue over and over and over again, that they're not getting what they need to get to make this squad more formidable. It's just not going to happen. And so it just won't happen. I feel like we're back at the days of top 4 being considered a trophy. I feel like we're back at that time. We had a little run for a couple of years where we thought we might be able to get something, and we got an FA Cup before that run even started. And now it looks like, I'm looking at the draw for Man City for the Man City Cup, and I'm like, oh, we could actually win this. I think we should just try to win that to get a trophy for Arteta, because I also don't think slim picking, exactly. So I'm like, just go for that to get another trophy for Arteta, because if you don't, Arteta's going to leave because some other team is going to try to take him. And not that he's some great manager, it's just he's going to go.
Question I was about to ask, and I'll ask you this, because I personally think this is a dumbass question to ask.
Never stopped you before, though, right?
No, I got to do it for public sake.
God, I missed this show.
Finish you guys, man.
Is Arteta still the guy?
Yes.
Who else is out there?
Oh yeah, I think he's the guy. I absolutely think he's the guy. Because and for that primary reason, I don't see someone else that's going to want to come in at this point right now, because Arsenal are not where Manchester United is, where you're willing to take not a chance, but go for the coach who has to rebuild everything. Arsenal's not there. And
you did that when you hired him.
I was just about to say, that's why we brought Arteta in the first place, because we were like, we got to get all this crap out of here. The Kolasinacs of the team, and these guys, and no hate on Kolasinac. I mean, look, no hate, nothing but respect. But we had to reform the squad, and now that he's here, and yes, you haven't gotten the silverware that you've hoped for, but this team has been more competitive before. I mean, look, this recent run of games is the worst I've seen them in quite a long time.
Yep.
But yeah. So, but if Arsenal really think that bringing in a new coach is somehow going to make them more competitive in order to win trophies, you got to be crazy. We all know what the teams have to do in order to win with the way European football is going. Excuse me. You're seeing fewer and fewer and fewer teams are going to be winning Champions League and are going to be winning the Premier League, and they're going to be winning, it's inevitably going to happen. And unfortunately, I feel like Arsenal is going to be outside looking in. You got to remember, Arsenal's never won a European, never won Champions League, never won Europa League, the final twice in Europa League, and laid an egg and played some of the worst football of the season in those games, which is so disappointing. And so those types of things are the reasons why I feel like it's going to be, because you're going to see City's going to be there unless they finally figure out that they've been cheating this whole time. Liverpool's going to be there because Liverpool, well, I don't know. Liverpool seems to be willing to spend more money. Manchester United, yeah, but Manchester United's going to come back. It's Manchester United. They're going to come back.
But dude, if I'm an Arsenal fan, which I'm not, and everybody knows this, that is not news. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I trust Arteta more so than I trust the unknown right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're asking me, would I choose Arteta over the unknown? I'm choosing Arteta.
Mm-hmm.
He may not have won a trophy. But do I believe that he can keep the team competitive? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My problem right now isn't even anything that Arteta has done.
Yeah.
It's been the failure of leadership to get him an effective striker.
And Edu is
that
out.
That is the one position that I know they need.
And it's what we've been begging for. But Edu is out.
Yep.
So
we'll see what that's going to be.
That's all you can say too, is that we'll see. That's all you can say.
We got to welcome on our good friend Byron Rob, who's waiting in the wings. I know that Celtic Cam is going to come on in a little bit. And I got to tell you all a story.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. G, you've been taking notes. You've been writing something down. I want to give you a chance to say what it is you want to say before we go to Byron Rob.
I'm actually grading. I'm trying to get two things at once right now because I'm like, screw it. I was halfway doing this because my internet was out. I'm like, fuck it, so I just kept on going, kind of thing. But what I do want to say though, even if a coach does come in, and there's no way that he can revamp the team with his own players. That'll be a suicide because the fans love the players that we have right now. So he must do with what Arteta's team is, maybe put one or two players of his own. I think Arteta's the best guy right now. He just needs a little bit more superstars. But yeah,
superstars is exactly right. Exactly, superstars.
G, I love you. You know that we're gonna come down and invade your place.
Well, I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna hang on. Just kind of just.
Until your internet cuts out again, right, G?
Yeah, we're doing a guys trip down there. Hey, Rob, you in? We're gonna do a guys trip down to invade G in the French Quarter.
I mean, that works. I haven't been to New Orleans in a while. I love New Orleans. And I love the crawfish. Get some crawfish etouffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you this. I've been down with G a couple of times down in New Orleans. He will tell you he's never had a bad meal when he's with me.
No, the meals have been fantastic, and I don't know how they have these secret people to get them in these secret places with reservations. But yeah, definitely been eating good when you guys come down here, man. You got some secret people down here. I should say your wife has the secret people down here.
I have a couple of mine too. But Rob, how goes it, my brother? It has been a while.
It goes great, man. You know what it is. Life gets in the way, football gets in the way, and then me and Chelsea Mike loving the sports cards, so that gets in the way. So
We're gonna have
it's
him
great to
on
be
a little
back.
bit later and talk some other stuff, but yeah, Germany, how goes it?
Well, I mean, they're top of the group in the Nations League. I mean, I can't tell you, like, I feel like the Nations League's here. I mean, we only got 2 more match days in Nations League, but I'm like, when does World Cup qualifying start? Like, I'm that's all I want. I mean, the Nations League is like a blob, but I want World Cup qualifying. No, they're fine. Top of the table. They just needed to get a point, I think, next 2 games and they'll top the table, but they're in a good position to move out to the next stage of the Nations League and whatever that is. Um, but yeah, they're good and they're doing things and they're trying to get themselves together and ready for another go at it with Nagelsmann and they'll they're just they're just going along. They're smooth sailing.
Uh, um, Rob, I'm glad you're on. I'm gonna tell you this, and G, glad that you're here with it. This weekend, I learned that Kansas City has 2 soccer-specific stadiums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have one for the men, and they have one for the women. I saw the women's stadium. It's on the river. It's in between where Arrowhead and the airport are. Which required me to ask the question, uh where is the stadium that the men's team plays in? Which is apparently actually in Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas apparently are not that close.
No, there were well, all right. In this case, I just did a Google Maps because I was curious myself. So, Children's Mercy Park is in Kansas, and it is 20 minutes away, roughly about 18 miles from the current Casey Current Stadium.
No, I can tell you based on proximity and having been there, that is not true.
Well, now granted, it is 8 o'clock over there in Central Time.
No,
So yeah,
that is not true.
yeah. It gets a little traffic over there. They don't do mass
We
transit very well.
drove 30 minutes from Raytown, right about 5 minutes away from Arrowhead. That
Mm-hmm.
took us 30 minutes to get to the Casey Current Stadium.
So you went to a game
No, I was out there and I just saw where the stadiums are.
next to the Bally's Casino.
Now that Chumpy, where Mercy Park, where the KC is Sporting KC plays,
Mm-hmm.
is out there in a general direction that in 2 years I have never been. And I've been out on the western side of Kansas City, Missouri. I
Mm-hmm.
still ain't never seen that place.
All right, so I've been to Children's Mercy Park. I've been to a playoff game actually there. Great
How
times.
long did it take you to get from the airport to there?
I really don't remember because I stayed at a friend's house who is in a suburb of Kansas City. So I went from there. But
Hour and a half plus.
yeah, I mean, wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that my beef is that they should really focus on uh turning Casey Current Stadium into something for both of them because that's the location.
Well, yes and no. I think where it's located specifically needs work. And the reason is because the parking's atrocious. There's no mass transit. And
No,
so
there is mass transit. Parking's atrocious. There is mass
Well,
transit.
they have a shuttle system that they're working on. But
It's the Midwest, brother. Ain't no such thing as perfect
I
mass
know,
transit.
man, but new stadium construction should account for urbanization and public transit.
This is a better location for a stadium than where Chelsea Mercy Park is.
I agree. I like it better there. And actually, I know the stadium is like 11,000 capacity.
11.5.
Yeah, it is. It will get expanded. 100%. Telling you right now, they will expand it.
I think that I think Sporting KC should try and move into that.
You know, the people, the Sporting KC, they love Children's Mercy Park. They love it.
I don't know how the fuck you can find it.
Yeah, I mean, I look, I mean, I found it once, but I was driven.
But isn't
No,
that but isn't that park like fan friendly? They have like a big, huge kind of outside like
I mean, dude,
area like
I was out there this weekend. That Chumpy is so far outside of actual Kansas City.
yeah, it is.
I can't believe it. I can't believe. I mean, I used to go from Philly down to Subaru Park, whatever the hell you want to call it, down in Chester. I know how long it took me to get down there. I promise you, uh, whatever they call it, Children's Mercy, Dignity, whatever the hell they call that park where Sporting KC plays, is so far outside of Kansas City proper. It makes where the Philadelphia Union play look close. And that is taking something. I have been in Kansas City twice. I've been to the Kansas City side of that once, and it took me a half hour to get out there. And I was still a half hour from that damn park. That is crazy to me.
you gotta get yourself a damn map.
Tell me about it.
What movie's that from? Yeah.
Rob, before we get into the Bundesliga and stuff like that, we need to talk about the NWSL playoffs.
What about, man? It was an action packed.
It's an action packed, and we've got 1 through 4 are the teams left. And I would say game of the weekend is Washington Spirit and Gotham.
I mean, honestly, like, yes, because there is, like, the proximity. You're gonna get a lot of Gotham fans coming down to DC.
But there is just also this aspect of Spirit doing what they have been, but they're so banged up, and Gotham coming in with their depth. I really believe this is going to be an awesome match, and I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of this isn't the team that takes the cup.
Yeah, so I see where you're going. The thing is, though, on the other side of the bracket, you have Barbara Banta versus Temwa Chewinga, who both of them are going off on the league, dropping goals, making defenders look absolutely silly. They can score. But look, you're right here, and this is why I think you're right, because Gotham specifically have got results on both the Current and Orlando. They have lost badly to the Spirit in both their matchups in the regular season, home and away. But so I was at the away game, got them at Spirit earlier in the year, and that Gotham team does not exist. Not only do they have a brand new keeper who's lights out and is top 3 for keeper of the year, but they gelled. They figured it out. Like they put all the pieces together, you know, like that was the biggest problem. Everybody said, "Oh, super team, Gotham is a super team." They got Roosevelt, Tierna, Emily Sonner, and then they have Lynn Williams. Obviously, they have Chris Dunn. All of them, all those folks, and right. And then they were dropping points early on. They lost a Challenge Cup, which is like kind of like their Community Shield type of thing, to waive the first week, and they were like, "Oh," I always said, "Look, just because you have all these top players doesn't make a team necessarily. You have to make them a team." And it took them a while and they got here. So Spirit are feeling really good about themselves because they know they could be Gotham. But I would tell you folks who love Spirit, it's not that Gotham team. It's that game was
We
so long.
know
That game must have been 5 years ago. That's how long it was.
we know that, and the Spirit team is insane. We've lost Croy Bethune. We've lost all of those players. And
SAR, you lost SAR as well.
Yeah, this is the hardest thing because I'm not a DC kid. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a Philly guy. I'm struggling, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on this one occasion in my life. I'm going to pull for a DC team. It's going to be the Washington Spirit.
Breaks my soul. Or my soul, man. Look. I mean, look.
I was talking to a buddy this weekend, and I said, I've never gotten a women's team jersey a day in my life, but I'm fitting to get a Washington Spirit jersey, and I'm actually having to debate whether I get Croy Bethune or Trinity Rodman.
I get Croy. Get Croy.
I like Croy because Croy's the hipsters pick, but I hate fucking hipsters. So that's also a problem.
You get Hal Hirschfeld.
Yeah, I might do that. All right. I've got to acknowledge this just because Coach G's packing up his papers, which tells me that he needs to get out in a short amount of time. And I would like to acknowledge and appreciate his presence, that I had him for as long as I did. So, brother, it has been good to see you. If you need to duck out, please do. We will catch you next time that we're back.
I do have a buddy who his father is not doing so well, so I'm kind of waiting for that phone call. So I'm gonna be in the shadows with you guys for right now until he calls me. It should be kind of any time. So I'm just gonna pop off. But yeah, it's fantastic seeing you guys. Count me in every Tuesday. I'm back, baby. Get the band back together. So I appreciate y'all.
With you. We're like the Blues Brothers. We're getting the band back.
Love it. Any Chicago reference I love. So yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'll talk to you later, brother. Good to see you. All right, Rob.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. I mean, it hurts my soul.
I know this playoffs has other teams.
You hurt my soul, man. Hurt my soul choosing the Spirit. What are you gonna wear? The yellow shirt? You're gonna match the airline? You're gonna pay $60 for a bag?
I have an all black shirt that I can match with some yellow Jordans. I'm good. I will do that. If you tell me this is the one DMV team that I'm gonna pick, I'm okay with it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. But I will tell you, if Spirit make it, I don't think they win. They win the final. They don't have enough pieces.
They should. They should.
And also Trinity really hadn't been the same since she went down crippling down with the back.
Well, you give them what they had the first half of the season. This is championship team.
Oh no, 100%. Like, look, they have probably defender of the year, and Tara McNew, and then you have Hal Hirschfeld. And by the way, they hit on all their rookies, all of them.
That was what I was
Perfect
going to say.
class.
Like, how do you have a draft class of like 3 or 4 players, and you hit on all of them?
Yeah, all.
And not only are they all like contributors, they're all significant contributors.
Yeah, Hal Hirschfeld is the Julie Ertz regen. I'm telling you right now, with a better dribble. Like that's how.
All
That's
right,
how
so is
high
she
she
going to
is.
be in the U.S. women's national team in the future?
She was an alternate at the Olympics, so yeah, you'll see her in January in Camp Cupcake, 100%.
All right, we do have to talk about Germany real quick. That table looks interesting, not interesting to me. I see Bayern Munich
Right. Oh,
5 points ahead of RB Leipzig. Eintracht Frankfurt being up in third is kind of interesting. Leverkusen, they sold some players. They've regressed in the mean. It looks not. It looks interesting, not interesting, and I promise you, I don't believe there's a lot that I can take from Bundesliga table right
no. I mean, they're already the coaching seat's hot at Dortmund already.
now. It should be based on where they are.
Yeah. I mean, and also with the gamble with Zahin getting the nod. Leverkusen. I'm not worried about Leverkusen because, like, I think
They're not winning games. They're
well,
not going to do what
they
they
had
did last season.
they had a miracle year last year, and then on top of the miracle year, they had Europa, which is they're talented. They have the players, and obviously they did really well in Europa, and they won the Pokal, right? All right, so great, whoop de doo, right? But here's the deal. The deal is that eventually they had to come back down to earth a little bit, right? And that's okay. Like, because on top of that, they had to play Champions League matches. Like, you can't just now it's about how big is the depth on your squad, and can they do it again? We're talking about you could play Europa League, and you maybe not try as hard, or maybe rest some players. No, but in Champions League, you play your horses, and now when you play your horses midweek, you don't have enough time to regenerate. You don't have enough time to heal up. So now it comes a weekend, you're not 100%. So obviously you're gonna drop points that way. And so this was bound to happen. Another one, Stuttgart, mid-table, 11th right now. Same thing. You know what? Now they play Champions League. This is your problem. Now the cat with a squad that doesn't spend as much as Leverkusen does not spend as much as Bayern or Dortmund. How do you play Champions League, pay respect to Champions League at the same time also the league? So it's really tough. Those coaches and those teams out there, when they have to play a highly competitive midweek match, it affects your league. And that's why Bayern's dominant in the league, along with doing very well in Champions League for all those years, is more impressive because they took both seriously and they did well in both of them. It's not as easy as people think it is. When Leverkusen doesn't draw 3 straight, when Leverkusen win league games, and does really well in Champions League, then you call me. You call me about the throne being, Bayern being the throne.
St. Pauli is now currently sitting a point off the relegation. I love me since St. Pauli. They're one of the only teams in the world that wears brown as their home color. We all love us some St. Pauli girls. I love the ethos of the club. Can they survive?
I'll tell you what. I think they can survive because I think they can win a playoff match against the third seeded Bundesliga 2 squad. I think like, they're not a club that they came up because they spent some money and their star players are performing, and then now they went to the league and then they bought more star players. No, they're not. It's not who they are. They are. This is who they are. They won the league their way. I mean, they made the Bundesliga their way, and they're not changing from it. So they're going to add pieces here and there, but it's who they are. The problem is that a lot of the other top teams in this league spend money or have established, you know, personnel who are used to life in the top division, like a Freiburg, like a Mainz, for example, right? Lower level teams, but they're built for top division. St. Pauli isn't, and I really hope that they survive because I think if they survive, they should get a little bit of a cash infusion from being in the Bundesliga, and then thus can maybe use it to their advantage. Also, being a Bundesliga side is attractive when you're trying to recruit players into your youth camps or your academy. So for them as well, it's going to help them out. All the way down the table, trickle down football, as we could call it. But yeah, they'll survive. I think they'll survive. I trust them to win a two-legged playoff.
All right, brother. It was great to talk to you about this. I've got to welcome another one of our friends in who I have not talked to in a long time. I probably should have. Professor Matt, how goes it? My communist brother.
It goes well, Mike. It goes as well as it can be.
You've got to be happy Liverpool are sitting at the top of this table. You can no longer tell me that Arne Slot was the wrong hire. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Not that, and by the way, to all of our credit, none of us on this program like completely wrote Liverpool off. I know some pundits were saying there's going to be this massive drop off. We all was sort of like, no, this is still a top four side. But with a new manager, with really a handful of signings, and the biggest one not even going to be coming through the door until the summer in the form of the Georgian goalkeeper. I didn't think at this stage. I think we all assumed there was going to be a betting in period for the slot machine. This was not going to be, easy, but top of the league, top of the weird. Have to be careful because UEFA might shut me down or I'll glitch again. The league phase of the Champions League, 15 wins, one draw, one loss, 39 goals scored, 10 goals allowed. That's I think that's the biggest difference.
One of the things that I got to talk to you about is the fact that Ruben Amorim was the guy that Liverpool had identified. It did not come to be. You and I have talked a lot about those things. What we hear now is that Amorim wanted to play three at the back, which was not what Liverpool wanted to do. And they didn't want to change their foundation and their academy system to fit his needs. I know you have some different information, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak your piece on that one.
So, and here's the thing, and I mentioned this in the chat, and I've mentioned this to all the Man United fan students I have that care to listen to me. I don't look, Ruben Amorim, when Klopp said he was leaving, was number 3 on my list. Xavi was 1, Nagelsmann was 2, he was 3. If you look at him purely as a tactical manager, there's a lot to like. Uh in terms of him, because we were lined up to offer him a contract. There is some question whether a contract was actually ever offered, but it was really close. My understanding is it wasn't so much the tactical inflexibility because we were ready to give the keys to the kingdom to Javi, who also plays 3 at the back. So I don't think systemically that was so much of an issue. It was more the second part of what you said about tearing down the foundation. Uh, and apparently he had issues working within our structure. That being said, okay, that wouldn't have made him a great fit at Liverpool. That doesn't mean that he wouldn't be necessarily a bad fit at United. I actually think that's a pretty decent hire. The one thing that I took away from all of this that I would be a little bit cautious about, and I don't think he's nearly as freaking weird, but there is a little bit of this guy might be Portuguese Thomas Tuchel about him, in that he doesn't necessarily play nice with other people. Because
And I,
it wasn't the tactics so much, it was working within the confines of the structure that really that the red flags got out of whack with.
I don't disagree with you. I go based on what you said and everything I saw this summer with him because, I mean, it was he had a contract on the table with Liverpool. He lost it because he was talking to West Ham. Neither one of them went in that general direction.
West Ham, yeah.
He was hard to get along with. I just want to make sure that everybody in Man United land who's really excited about this, and they should be. Like he has capability to be a really good manager. Also understand when I don't disagree with you when you say Portuguese Thomas Tuchel. Like this could go really, really well for the next 10 years. It could also go pear-shaped in 18 months.
Yeah, you don't know. Again, there's some red flags about him and his ability to work with again, definitely our structure. What I will say is he's going to single-handedly revive Manuel Ugarte's future at your club because that's his boy.
I don't know how much that's. I don't know how much that. Listen, Manuel Ugarte's future is ancillary to me right now. If you told me he could revive Anthony's career, I'd be invested. But I don't think Jesus himself.
I was about to say you need fetish doctors for that, Mike.
I don't think Jesus himself. I don't think Jesus himself and Pope Pius X with his holy water could come down and bless Anthony in a direction that would make that man walk forward.
But it's funny. So, and one of the reasons we didn't have many signings in the summer was, and I now take Arne Slot as his word, he said, I'm here and I'm using the preseason to assess this squad. For Ruben Amorim and United, the rest of the season, this season, is literally him assessing this squad because
if he doesn't,
a lot of guys are not going to be.
But the difference in that one is Ruben Amorim's going to assess the squad, and he's going to find out there's a lot of guys that he needs to sell, and it's going to be questioned mark whether or not he can actually get them sold. That has been the problem. You've had all these guys who are on very high wages who you can't sell because you either negotiate a fee, but they're not going to accept the wage, or you can negotiate the wage, but they're not. But the fee isn't worth it. It'll be we like the person who can successfully sell Anthony right now is my hero. All right, brother. We always like to talk about Eastern Europe in this section to start. I'm gonna say one thing that I did not realize that Red Star Belgrade was going by whatever name that they were going by when they were playing Barcelona. But the one thing I damn sure do know is they shouldn't have been playing Barcelona that day because that was ugly.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the sad things about the new Champions League format, because when you had the home and away splits, getting Red Star Belgrade, or because for whatever goddamn reason they make sure UEFA refers to them in the Serbo-Croatian. Because at first I was like, who did Barcelona play? And I checked it and I'm like, oh no, that's Red Star Belgrade. Did not When you get a club like that, a small Eastern European team, and you play them once at your place, the scoreline should look like exactly what it looked like against Barcelona. But I'll remind you, the year that we won the Champions League, they were in our group. We beat them solidly 5-0 at Anfield. And then we went to Belgrade and lost 2-0 because playing in front of 2,000 plus, 20,000 plus angry Serbs who are yelling at you in the frickin' cold in a strange city is not fun. And so that's it sucks that with the new Champions League format, I don't think you see something like Sheriff ever again, because these bigger Western European clubs don't get a chance to come necessarily to Eastern Europe. Maybe after.
The one thing I will say about Sheriff is that Sheriff thing happened at Real Madrid, so that's a bad example.
That's true. That's true.
I will say this. I saw Manchester United schedule that they have to play FCSB. And I was thinking like that was a Belgian club or something like that. And I realized that's Steaua Bucharest.
Well, okay, yes and no. There are two Steaua Bucharests at the moment, right?
Because, of course, this is why we have an Eastern European section of the show, because inevitably you're going to tell me why something that I thought existed up until this year does not, in fact, exist.
So the club, Steaua Bucharest, the club was the Romanian army club during the communist era, and then after everything went down in '89, it and all the clubs were privatized. The club was bought by a figure who eventually was prime minister of Romania for a little bit. Uh, let's just say he is a businessman. Take that what you will. He rebranded the club. He pissed off all of the stakeholders. So it was like it's sort of, I hate to use United as an analogy, but it was kind of like,
oh Jesus, we just lost man at the best part of that whole thing.
Well, he was due for his obligatory screen freeze, which seems to happen at least once a show. So, we always get a nice still image of him.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
All right, we're back. Cool.
All right, we're back.
We're back. Because I'm like, I can hear you. So yeah, it's like if the mafia bought a club, pissed off everybody, associated with the club. And yeah, you have the situation now where you have the old like Statue Bucharest, but they can't use the name because the club supporters got the name back. So there's another club, Statue Bucharest, who plays in the Romanian second division. Uh, so effectively, you're playing Statue Bucharest, but really you're playing the thing formerly known as Statue Bucharest that was bought by a crazy, Romanian gangster guy.
Good. I promise you, every time I talk to Professor Matt, I learn something that I didn't know, and half the time I learn stuff that I wish I didn't know.
That's the joy of Eastern European football, man.
Hey man, that's what keeps those podcasts going. That's why Matt's this is exactly why Matt's individual posts get more views than all than all the
rest
other
of us
stuff does.
because we all love the insanity that is in Eastern Europe, but we don't want to admit that we love the insanity that is Eastern Europe. Like, we really don't want to admit that we like ex-Soviet bloc stuff.
You gotta be kidding me. His preview on the Kazakhstani Football League got more views than our weekly show.
Yeah, but he's better at this than we are.
No, people are like, what the hell is this? I'm gonna click on this and see who is this weird guy with the puffy hair and the mustache talking about Kazakhstan. The reason why we
employ him is I knew when we got him, he's better at this than the rest of us are. There's a reason why he is Professor Matt and the rest of us are not.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
Like I did some time before we went into Iraq in Romania.
Okay.
And I got used to Bucharest and Constanta.
Oh, okay.
So I have a little bit of fundamental, basically bad understanding of Romania. So all that you're saying makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
And damn. Now, that being said, I don't particularly want to go over to Bucharest and play a game.
Yeah, it's still like it's still a hostile environment. It's a long trek. And God forbid you play an important domestic league match because, it's like, okay, well, we'll put the feet off the gas a little bit. And then all of a sudden you're in like some weird post-Soviet Thunderdome with these angry, pissed off. That's why being a Dynamo Kiev fan, I loved the old Olympic Stadium in Kiev because it was this Soviet concrete like just bowl that moved, and it gets cold in Kiev. Like the winter has begun already, and like I mean, Stead, this probably brings back PTSD of your early days as an Arsenal fan. We beat Arsenal there, and that Wenger team came to Kiev, and it was like February, so like the Ukrainian league was just starting back up. It was cold, it was angry, it was the 90s in Ukraine, so everyone is pissed the frick off, and we had Shevchenko, so like those were wonderful times.
All right, Chelsea Mike is now joining us, looking very much like a reject from a Bob Dylan music video from the.
No, he doesn't. He looks like he should be in Green Street Hooligans about to give somebody a curb stomp with those glasses and hat on, man. You got me a little scared the other day, Chelsea Mike.
We were I saw Chelsea Mike came out this summer and we went to the Arsenal Chelsea women's match. I sat with him. Now, Stead, you were out with me this summer, and we went to the Scotland rugby match. The one thing I remember to do was to check what side of the stadium the sun comes in. Somebody's ass forgot to do that. And it was the hottest game that I've ever. No, global warming is real. I'm not going to lie about that one. It was as hot as I have ever been at a game, to the point where I actually had to get up and leave. It was too hot. I'm a black man. I thought that I was going to turn into a darker black man. But, brother, it is good to see you. How goes it?
Oh, I mean, it goes. Every day is another day. Now, today is a cold day. So,
we're talking a little bit of Eastern European football. Matt is enlightening us on Professor Matt is enlightening us on everything that is post-Soviet Romanian football, but it might not even be post-Soviet. It may be Soviet and post-Soviet Romanian football. It's one of those things that I never thought I needed to know until I heard it done. So, Professor Matt, please, is there anything that I'm missing about why I should give a shit about South Bucharest?
They have a Champions League, and certain clubs that some of us root for on this podcast don't.
Ooh, shots fired.
So I know, not shots fired, just truth, just straight up truth. Again,
that's cool.
Hey, you know what? The conference league is great. I get to learn geography. I get to hear of sides I've never heard of before. Białystok in third. So it goes Chelsea, Poland, Poland. Those are the standings in the conference league right now. And there's nothing
when
wrong.
I'm teaching geography, I always tell the story of the group of Liverpool fans who went to see a game in Sofia, Bulgaria, but read the schedule wrong and thought the game was being played in Bucharest. So a plane full of very excited Scousers get off a plane in Bucharest, cheering, only to find out said game is actually being played in Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a country.
Typical Scouser right there. That's a great Scouser story.
Bulgaria is a country. Bucharest is a city. Bucharest is in Romania. Bulgaria is a country. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria. Please know that. Now, I will tell you that I also, when I was over in Kosovo, got sent on leave to Sofia, Bulgaria. And
best feta cheese in the goddamn world.
Yes, and also is the only time the hotel had a club at the top, and the pimp who ran the club at the top of the hotel that we were staying at had a business card. I kind of like this dude. The pimp with the business card is probably one of my favorite individuals ever. I believe his name was Boris.
Are we certain he doesn't also own a random, former state-owned team in Bulgaria?
He may own a whole lot of stuff, but Boris was a pimp with a business card, and I've got to respect that hustle. That is amazing. Mikey, how goes it?
Oh, it's going. I mean,
I had the opportunity to talk a little bit of NWSL playoffs with Byron Rob a bit earlier, but I wanted to get your take on where we are with the last four.
Well, I mean, I think you've got Orlando dominating the league. Kansas City, they've got offensive firepower. I mean, that stands to be a really great offensive game. And then you know, you've got Washington versus Gotham, and I
That's the
think
one I
you and
want to
I
see.
would probably be on opposite sides about, because you know that my three favorite women's soccer teams in the world are, in this order: Chelsea, whoever's playing Barcelona, and whatever team Rose Lavella's on. So, I mean, dude, Rose
I'm gonna
Lavelle
go with the.
electric.
I will be alone, and I will be the only one on this podcast. But that is the one DC related team that I am going to root for. I love me. Um, I love me some Trinity Rodman, and I'm riding or dying with her.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, they're a really good team. Um, what they've been able to do, bringing in young players, they always hit. Hal Hirschfeld, I think, is almost underrated in a world where Kwabethune looks like a future U.S. women's national team star.
But she
Hirschfeld,
hasn't played since the summer when she tore her meniscus, throwing out a pitch at the Washington Nationals game. Fuck you, Nationals. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, pretty much just proof that the Nationals just ruin everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but so honestly, I'm really excited for that game in the weekend. The Gotham Washington, especially. Think it'll be a lit atmosphere down there in DC too. I think that'll be great. Um, but again, there's there's so many experienced, talented national team players on Gotham that, yeah, you don't want to see them. You don't want to see that Gotham is the next. They're also the defending champions, so um, you got to knock them off the throne.
You and
Uh,
I kind of had this conversation when you were out here this summer. The virtues of the NWSL versus the Women's Professional League over in England. I think that, and I would put up any of the NWSL teams against the European teams.
um, no, I'm sorry. I don't know that any team in the NWSL could beat Chelsea or City. I think they could beat everybody else, but Chelsea and City, I mean, they're they're two of the three best teams in the world.
I don't think that we get to see the NWSL teams in the world the same way. And I'm willing to put Gotham, I'm willing to put uh DC, I'm willing to put any one of them up against there. And I think they can hold their own.
No, it's true. I do think one level that European clubs probably need to start exploring, and that the NWSL already has, is the importing of African players. Temana Chumingwa,
In Caribbean.
and Caribbean too. I mean, obviously there's links. There's a lot of English links there, so it's not. I mean, it's almost their own formal colonial backyard, the Commonwealth backyard, if you will. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is of course Bunny Shaw in Manchester City. I would say early contender for Ballon d'Or next year. Bunny Shaw does play in England. But you get the players of the Namibian team lighting up the NWSL. I mean, they're geographically closer to Africa. You would like to see more recruitment there. I think the NWSL does do that very well. Asasada Ashwala for Bay. had a great year, and she came from Barcelona. So, um, but I just don't think that. I think that, first of all, I want to say this to any European viewers we have, English especially, that
we had 5 people who watched us, and all of them are related to us. So why are you worrying about European viewers?
I just want to throw it. It's on the internet. I want to throw it out there. I want to state my case, Michael. I'm going to state my case. But no, so anyway, obviously the MLS, right, is sort of a retirement league, especially in the viewpoint of British people. What the English especially don't understand is that the Premier League and MLS are like not even in the same world. The NWSL is not a retirement league. It's not, a development league for players to come over to Europe. It is a destination league. So, it is 1 and 1A with England, and I'm an Anglophile wearing my Chelsea hat. I've got a Johanna Ridding Cannereed jersey hanging behind me. Obviously, I
thought we
I
were
might
clear on
be a
that
little
point.
biased, but
The NWSL is not somebody's retirement league. I thought I just said this. I would put most of the NWSL teams up against the women's professional league over the WPL over in England any day of the week and twice on Sunday, and we'll let them see who wins.
well, hopefully a Club World Cup does come together, and it's the kind of thing that gets taken seriously, very much unlike the men's.
And I'm there for it as long as you don't get seats in the sun.
Well, now I know which side of that stadium,
you should ask.
Field is the sun side.
You should ask.
I'm not a Washington fan
in
anything.
You should ask.
I mean, I could have asked. Also, they were kind of cheap, so
no, but you should ask.
But anyway, while we're on the topic, just let me throw out there, this weekend we're on an international break. However, match of the weekend, certainly Chelsea, Manchester City, 12:30 on Saturday on ESPN Plus. That is an enormous game. If you watch one match of women's soccer this year, NWSL Championship, Champions League final, but league match, Chelsea Man City this Saturday.
Let's talk about some Chelsea before we get into lower leagues. Chelsea have come on like gangbusters recently. The only blemish that they have on their record, yes, I will say, is the tie against Manchester United, but they've climbed their way up into the top 4. They are at the top of the Conference League. Enzo Maresca was the right dude.
I think I would agree with that wholeheartedly, that it was the right move to Maresca.
It's still a bloated squad.
Yeah,
got some issues with that you've got to deal with, and you're going to have to give up on some high-priced players and probably at a loss.
I mean, the number one leading suspect for that right now is Enzo. I mean, Enzo is captaining our Conference League team, but our next match in that is against Heidenheim. I mean, this is a guy who was a young and budding star for Argentina in a team that won the World Cup, and now he's relegated to leading the line on the second squad. I mean, when they signed, when they signed 3 central defensive midfielders in the course of 6 months, obviously somebody's going to have to take a back seat. And I don't know if the plan was Lavia's young, like maybe kind of bring him up or loan him out or whatever. Then he got hurt, so they couldn't. But now he's playing and he looks good. Moises Caicedo looks like he looks like N'Golo Kante with the ability to finish. Like he's been, I think, one of the MVPs of the Premier League so far this year, and his emergence has certainly helped Chelsea, and his distribution of the ball is amazing. So I think really what's going on at Chelsea is that the maturation is starting to occur. The talent's always been there. They have the coach now in Maresca who seems to be able to line them up in the right way. And things are starting to come together. This is the plan, year one, make Europe. Year two, Champions League. Year three, we're pushing for the title. We're pushing for Champions League. The plan's on course. So, long season.
As long as you trust in Todd Bowley, keep going. Let's talk about things going on in lower leagues. Everybody in America is going to be concerned with what Wrexham are doing. And despite all odds, again, the weirdly placed Welsh team is pushing for another promotion.
Yeah. They're in third place in League One and certainly in solid contention. I mean, they're behind two teams who've just dropped. Wickham and Birmingham. Birmingham aside, that I am sure pains them tremendously to be in League One. They want to be up there fighting with Villa and not with Wrexham. But they're having a good season so far. Wrexham, yeah, they look good. I mean, they've been built for this from day one, and now they're kind of just looking to keep skipping up. I mean, let me just say, I think there's probably something else we're going to talk about that's a way better story. But it'll be good.
Give me where else we're gonna. All right, I'm looking at the championship table.
Good. That's what I was talking about. Because if we're going to talk about documentary series teams,
I like Welcome to Wrexham better than I've liked Welcome Sunderland Till I Die.
And they didn't end it right. It's their own fault.
It didn't
end it was right. They was half-assed that season. They better have the cameras there this year, because the cameras were there to show them going back up to the Premier League. So now is the time. Finish the arc of your story. It's perfectly written. Look, it's writing itself.
Mike, 9 of the top 10 teams in the championship are teams that have played within the last decade in the Premier League.
Indeed. I mean, are you implying there that the parachute payments are almost impossible?
No, I just think it's crazy that 9 of the top 10 teams, the outlier being Millwall, are teams that I have seen in the Premier League in the last 10 years.
Well, I think it says something good that kind of different teams are going up and coming back down.
And they've all taken very different routes. All right, we can talk about Sunderland going down to League Two, almost being relegated out of the professional ranks. To come up, they are now top of the championship. Sheffield United, they were a team that we thought were going to stick and stay. COVID hit. The benches expanded. and they went down. Leeds, they're in third place. Probably should have come up last year. Fell short. They dropped down the table last year, ended up in the playoffs, missed promotion. You're playing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look. Third place is the most dangerous place to be if you're a Leeds fan because you've been there.
Burnley, West Brom, Watford, Middlesbrough, Blackburn Rovers, Bristol City. I can go down to 11 where I cut off because I don't think Swansea's played in the Premier League in the last decade. But all these are teams that
actually.
Yeah, it's close to a decade.
It's close to a decade. That's why I cut them off. I mean, definitely Derby County I haven't seen in the Premier League. I remember when Derby County were.
We've seen Stoke. We've seen Norwich City as well. We've seen Hull City. And so
I would love to see, personally, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is a team that I always would love to see up there.
And it has been a while for Swansea, but let's not forget Swansea won a trophy. Won a major trophy.
Won a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
They did. But while we're on the topic of teams that used to be in the Premier League, I mean, take a look at Luton Town. They're in danger of the double. They're in danger of the double drop.
Yeah.
Which, I would never have predicted that. I really didn't think probably that they would come back up straight away. But I also did not expect it to be in that sort of territory. I don't think. I mean, they were not good in the Premier League last year. Let's not sugarcoat it. We enjoyed their quirky stadium where you walk through gardens to get to the stands and all that, but they weren't really good. But this is very bad. They're only out of the drop zone by virtue of having scored more goals than Cardiff City.
But look at the bottom of that league: Luton Town, Cardiff City, Portsmouth, and QPR, who are all former Premier League teams, and I'll write off Luton. They are a kind of smaller club, but Cardiff, Portsmouth, and QPR have pretty significant support.
Yeah, I mean Portsmouth especially. I remember them.
All three of them playing really significant stadiums. I mean, that is a significant blow to again be relegated for those three down to League One.
Especially when you consider, one of the teams coming up to replace them might be Wrexham.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a fan of, say, Portsmouth. You've been up and down, right? Up and down, bouncing through the leagues, waiting for your turn. And then all of a sudden, out of seeming, and you've got these great facilities, world-class facilities that, would be top tier leagues in most countries. And then, you've got Wrexham, who have these superstar owners and are seemingly coming out of nowhere. Sort of feels like they're buying it. I'd imagine that would have to be frustrating to be a lifelong supporter of a side.
I have heard those guys on Welcome to Wrexham, and they talk to the opposing fans. And what the opposing fans say all the time is, we are not going to begrudge them what happened to them, but we're sort of kind of pissy that didn't happen to us.
Right.
Why not us? Why is it that they chose to do this club, not ours? Why is it that they chose Wrexham, not Sheffield Wednesday.
Right, or any of the clubs that have been for sale, Derby.
For so long, why is it that they chose this club? And we've seen Tom Brady jump in on the club. We've seen a bunch of people. Now, are they going to be able to be as successful as the owners? No. And the funny thing is, when Wrexham's coming in to buy a player, it's freaking Wrexham. You can charge them extra.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna pay it. And frankly,
they may not. Like, what I will give them credit for is those two have been very, very, very disciplined owners. They have a budget. They will spend. It may be more than what you might spend in that league, but they will spend. But they are not getting fleeced.
No, I think that the results are the proof that you need right there. That they've hired talented football people to run that portion of their program, and they're succeeding. I mean, you can't begrudge them the success. You can maybe side eye like, why couldn't it be me? But it's hard to argue that what they've put together and jumping from outside of the league, now League One and potentially the championship in just a course of 5 years it's a pretty amazing run. And it highlights the talent of their executive staff as much as
I
don't
want to see them in the Premier League. I don't want to see them in the Premier League. I don't want to see them in the Premier League, gentlemen, because
Ryan Reynolds has enough billions.
Ryan Reynolds has enough billions. They have external sources of revenue that you don't have.
They essentially have a cornering on an entire country's market.
Yeah.
And it's a big country. It's the United States.
Yeah. I mean, they will not run afoul of financial fair play. They can write off all that. I do not want to see them in the Premier League. No, I don't want to see them in the Premier League. Am I hoping that they make it? Yeah. I don't want to see them because I don't want to deal with them. Because could you imagine what, with a built-in documentary, built-in finances, a built-in massive fan base in the United States, what that team could do? Like, they are not going to be scared of financial fair play because they are printing money right now. They're printing money. They are the only lower league side that I know of that has sold every home, away, and alternate jersey that they have printed for the last 2 years. And that's only because I know the last 2 years because I've looked. They have sold every home, away, and alternate jersey that they have printed for the last 2 years. That is unheard of at £60 a spot.
Yeah.
It's unheard of that you do that. They have a license to print money. They have a license to print money in a way that Premier League teams that we know of do not.
Yeah, I mean, you think they'd be, more popular than what we
They would be
consider
more
big six or
popular
big
than
seven.
Manchester United if they came up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, they would be more popular than Manchester United if they came up tomorrow. They would be more popular than Manchester City. They would be more popular than Liverpool. They would be more popular than Arsenal. They have a better following. They have a better social media engagement. It's all for this random freaking town in Wales. All right, gentlemen. TikTok, TikTok.
Wait, so Mike, let me just tell you what
Yeah,
you
because
can
that's
watch.
never happened before.
No, I know, but let me just tell you, you can watch Wrexham this weekend, 9:30 on Paramount Plus. Also, favorites of the show, Exeter City, also in League One. Uh, not quite the superstar level of owners, but Sean from the program, he can vouch
We
for
love
them.
him. He will
Exeter
tell
City
me all about that.
7:30 on
All right,
Paramount
boys.
Plus.
We got to get out of here. This was very fun. We'll do this next week. Yeah, I should be available next week. I think I can do a podcast next week. All right. For the cast of the Too Many Guys Soccer Show, I would like to thank Coach G, Byron Rob, Professor Matt, Chelsea Mike, and of course my faithful partner in all things podcasting, producer Stid. We did all right this week. Try and do better next week. On behalf of the Too Many Guys Soccer Show, I am Mike. Have a good week.